What's going on, everybody? This is James Grandmaster Facts Voice, and this is another episode of the Facts Project. Today, very special guest, Naseed Gifted, Khem Fest, Wakanda Ball, and also a P.B.S soldier. Thank you for being here, sir.
Man, thank you. Thank you for having me, man. First of all, thank you for your patience and your due diligence of making it happen, man. Because
that's all of you,
bro. I know we've been scheduling this, and
yes,
we had some scheduling conflicts, but I'm glad this is finally coming, and the universe just got out of the way and made it happen.
Absolutely. So we know first and foremost that September is a very big month for you.
Yes.
More so than most, a lot of people that have known your work for many years understand what Khem Fest is, and it's going into its 8th year.
Yes.
Can you please tell the listening public about Khem Fest?
So Khem Fest is, I'm gonna say it's a passion project of mine. So Khem Fest is a celebration of Black animation, gaming, and comic book creators, where we take that passion for gaming, animation, and comic books and explore the careers, the STEM career opportunities that are associated with it. Just think about any animation, any movie that you watch, right? There's thousands of job opportunities there. A lot of those are STEM related. And because, our Black and brown communities are always just on a consumer side of it, we want to also be the creators of innovators in that industry. So to be able to do that, we wanted to introduce and expose young people and adults to those different career options that are there, so we can not just be consumers, but be creators and innovators within this industry, man. And that's kind of like where Khem Fest came from, like that whole thing of going into various towns and cities and seeing these different conventions, but not seeing that those type of opportunities happening in the Black and brown communities that I currently reside in, which is Newark, New Jersey.
Definitely. Jersey all day, by the way. Myself being a Jersey resident. But more so than anything, aside from Khem Fest being a 3-day festival, yes, this is more of a yearly thing for you. This is not just the yes, 3 days in September. This is a learning and educational community aspect that goes into it. And yes, aside from just Khem Fest itself, what do you essentially do year round with the community, the city of Newark, going forth, and how that revolves around just the festival itself?
So initially it all started with, traveling across the country, and I had a whole personal plight or personal mission to use comics to teach STEM. So I've been talking about diversity, and then how we can use comics as a platform to introduce young people into the STEM fields, which is science, technology, engineering, mathematics. But of course, most people are now familiar with STEAM. So science, technology, using the arts, engineering, and mathematics to be able to, bring some excitement, some passion into what these STEM careers are from. For me, I come from an engineering background, but I also was passionate about, comic books and animation and everything. I wasn't a big gamer. My brother was the gamer, but I was a coach. So, that's kind of like how our whole dynamics worked out. He used to do these little gaming tournaments when we were younger, as far as Nintendo and all of these things. And I used to just be rooting them on and everything. But there's some serious gamers out there, not knowing that, thinking that my brother was the number one in the household and maybe on the block. But when you go to the region and the state and all this stuff, man, you got people who put in that work, man. It's crazy. It's crazy out there. But just growing up, just having those different passions and not knowing that there was actually career opportunities that's associated with them, because most people tie you into, things that they're familiar with. And I didn't grow up next to a game developer or comic book creators or anything like that. So I didn't know those were career paths I could pursue. But I had a unique experience in high school, and that's why I got exposed to engineering through an engineer that looked like me. And from that point on, that's when I wanted to become an engineer and be a problem solver and solve problems in my community. And that's kind of like how I look at Khem Fest, as being able to avoid that educational, that technology gap And also the gap within STEM where there's less than 5% of Black and browns in that field. And then if you actually even graduate, I mean, and then we talk about, you know, just the statistics throughout the country. Even if you graduate with a STEM degree, 38, I mean, if you major in some type of STEM field when you go into college, 38% will change their major prior to graduation. Right? Then 1 out of 10 will, you know, actually get a job opportunity, you know, and so on and so forth. So being able to change that paradigm, change those dynamics, those statistics is something that I'm looking to do with Khem Fest, our graphic novel series, P.B. Soldier, and every other project that we're a part of.
Definitely, man. That's amazing, by the way. Now, when we're talking about the contributive factors that Khem Fest has basically been able to expand on within its 8 years. In the beginning, when you first brought this about, like it was more so like a Comic-Con, and then you sort of branched out. And now you basically added an animation and film festival to it. You've added a marketplace. You've added a fashion show. You've added art and tech gallery to it. What were these contributing factors to where people basically saw exactly what you were doing for the city of Newark and just felt the need to add their pieces along with it with you, so they would feel a part of the mission?
Well, part of it was Khem Fest initially was a pop-up shop, right?
Okay.
So Khem Fest was a pop-up shop where we would do the annual event. I mean, it took a lot of planning, it took a lot of energy, you know, working full-time in education and doing P.B. Soldier and all that, you know, that was it. But doing this journey, you know, going to these different conventions and everything, and just understanding that we needed a year-round presence. So one of the things that happened was we talked to the management company for the Haynes & Co. building, and they loved the idea of us doing Khem Fest in the space. And we actually did it there in 2019. But I also saw an art convention there, Newark Arts Festival, in their same space a couple of years before. And I was like, man, Khem Fest would do so well here. Well, what would the year-round piece be? Because we want Khem Fest to be Khem Fest and be what it is.
Right.
So with that, and we pretty much expanded to where we developed, because we always talk about the future, right? So we was like, man, and I'm, you know, we already in Afrofuturism with the graphic novel series and everything. So it's like, look, we're going to do something really unique and have people gravitate to it. We developed an Afrofuturism art and tech gallery called The Future is Black. And in there, we activated a number of things. I mean, of course, the art and tech gallery, where, you know, we have a number of artists from across the country who are featured in the space. We also, I mean, and we had 4 elements to Afrofuturism that we wanted to feature. One was art, the other one was fashion, then we have technology, and then the last piece was architecture. So the engineer in me, the visual artist in me pretty much said, look, you know, even from a social justice standpoint and how we look at, you know, what we want as a community, I said, okay, we always talk about the problem, but what's the solution, right? And what does the solution look like?
Right.
And that's where the whole lens of that Afrofuturism kind of came into it. So like, okay, you know, we want to talk, we want to attack police brutality, we want to attack you know, racial inequality and everything. But what would that look like in the world? How would that future look like? And that's what we wanted to kind of depict in our Afrofuturism art and tech gallery, or The Future is Black.
Man, amazing. Now, aside from this year,
yes,
with the end of the year, end of the month is usually when Khem Fest is, around the end of September. This year, a week prior, you're also sponsoring the Wakanda Ball. If you could talk about that.
Oh man, so the Wakanda, so we would always talk, part of our whole, we did a Kickstarter, right? So part of the plight for the Kickstarter being that Afrofuturism is a term that a certain sector of people know or are very familiar with. But what happens when we talk about Wakanda, everyone is familiar with Wakanda, right?
Yes, sir.
So we talked about all right, how do we bridge the two? Like for the people who know what's going on with Afrofuturism, and then the people who don't know without explain, without having to have a whole half an hour conversation with them. So the whole campaign was like, look, we're looking to bring Wakanda to Newark, and that's been the whole mission. So when we were talking about bringing Wakanda to Newark, that was the whole Afrofuturism Art and Tech Gallery, and we talk about the future and with that lens. And then we was like, man, it would be great for us to do a Wakanda and Newark ball, because we wanted to do an Afrofuturism ball. That's what this is. It's an Afrofuturism ball. Right. But like once again, it takes too much explaining to do with regards to what is Afrofuturism and what fits in that category. But everyone is so familiar with Wakanda. So we was like, look, we're doing a Wakanda in Newark ball, and we kind of went with that. And that's actually the theme of our scholarship fundraiser, where we're looking to raise money to finance our STEM initiatives. So we are looking to do more year-round programming. We want to be able to give out scholarships for film, for animation creators and game developers, to be able to give them some startup money, because one of the things when we talk about inequity is being able to have the resources. Animation, where even with P.B. Soldier is written in episodes because we always saw it as a 30-minute animated series. So, but the capital that's needed in order to do an animated series is a lot higher entry point, that we was like, look, and I mean, we faced it, through our journey. So we want to be able to help others be able to do that, and then be able to provide the computers, the technology that's needed to be able to do it, and teach those type of next generation of creators by teaching them game design and animation. And that's where this whole ball came about. And we was like, man, we want to do Afrofuturism. We want to kind of tie in, all the elements of everything that we're doing, and be able to send a message to the community, like this is what it is, and where do we see ourselves? Because I think about I'm in education, right? So we were facing a pandemic for like that 2 years, right?
Yep.
So there was a lot of babies born in that pandemic. So I'm like, so in 2040, those babies will be 20 years old. The job opportunities that's available right now won't be available for these young people, right? How do we prepare that next generation for the job market that's coming? So they won't be obsolete, so they won't be so they will be globally marketable, and we talk about the metaverse, we talk about all of this stuff. So being able to prepare them for those type of opportunities is something that we're doing with what we're doing with Khem Fest, as well as the Wakanda and Newark Ball.
So have you been able to align yourself with like fellow charities that are doing stuff with the youth already in Newark, to where it kind of like collaborates with you to have the ability to reach out to those kids and let them know exactly what the initiative is?
Yes, so we did partner with one organization called STEAM Urban. STEAM Urban has been like facilitating a lot of our STEAM activities that we're doing. We're doing slime making, we're doing art activations, we're doing a number of things. And like I said, from that, Afrofuturism lens, so young people can actually see themselves as a part of the future, and being a part of the change, because everything that we all know stimulates from one place and one place only, and that's the ideas. And then the idea of being able to change the future, or even be able to shape the future, like even when we talk about Afrofuturism architecture, like what are the buildings going to look like? What are the vehicles going to look like? Like all of those different things come from ideas, and then we build upon that, and then make it real. So I have this one concept of conceiving it in your mind, believe it in your heart, and achieving it with your hands. But the first thing is be able to develop those mental models so you can actually start moving forward and making it concrete. So going from abstract to something that is conceptually real is a process in itself.
Absolutely, man. I love the mission statement. Now, as far as the Wakanda ball, just to go backwards a little bit.
Yes.
when the introduction of that came about, the inspiration for, of course, we're talking about Black Panther and
Yes,
basically the visuals of what we saw in 2018.
yes,
How did that
that's right.
change your perspectives going forward? The movie itself, how did it change
Uh-huh.
your perspectives going forward and what you wanted to create in the next 4 years leading up to today?
Well, I mean, one of the things that so I was already a part of that aspect of the movement when we talk about Afrofuturism.
Yeah.
So for mass media, it's actually a great reference tool to when we talk about Afrofuturism. You know, we talk about technology, we talk about all of those things. We're like, hey, look at Wakanda. That's what we kind of want to shape and what we want to move to. So being able to use that as a reference point to get people on a baseline level to be able to get a level of understanding of what you're talking about so they can actually visualize it themselves is where we were, because I've been writing a graphic novel series since 2008. We first published in 2012. So we've been working our way up until this point since then. You know, now it's just like I said, it has more of a catchphrase, it has more of an audience for it, and now more people are gravitating to it because of the Black Panther movie. And then now we have Wakanda Forever coming out 11/11/2022, you know, where we're still riding that wave. And then like I said, for the masses, more people are putting a lens on, you know, what we see as what, oh man, what's up with this Afrofuturism? What's up with this whole just black media in general, and how it can, one, be profitable, and then also when we talk about diversity, and then having, you know, more people engaged on the creative side of these different projects that's going on, because they saw the success that happened when you had Ryan Coogler being able to have creative control of a particular project like that, and make it, you know, super successful.
Right. Now, as far as putting ChemFest together, and of course Wakanda Ball, and
Yes.
and all the panels, the screenings, the special guests that are going into it, as far as when we talked about the mission statement going forth, is there any terms of ChemFest that you feel are underrepresented that you want to touch on in the future?
Well, I believe that the Animation Film Festival, because it's a Black animation film festival, is one of the areas that we want to grow bigger and bigger. I mean, we get a number of submissions, but a number of people don't know that. First of all, we focus on shorts. We're not doing features, right?
Okay.
So we're not doing full features because we know for that level of a project, it costs millions of dollars, which, you know, a number of people don't have. But you could do a 3-minute short, and then you could submit that into our film festival. So being able to get more awareness about what we're doing, because animation is a certain niche market, and then Black animation is an even smaller niche market. You know, just like when we talk about Blacks in STEM and everything else, Black and Browns in STEM, you know, it becomes an even smaller and tighter market. So the awareness of it, you know, most of our entries come from across the country and overseas. You know, of course, a lot come from, you know, Nigeria, South Africa, you know, and all of those different areas, you know, where we have films being submitted from. But we do have certain pockets in the U.S. that are doing things. And like I said, it's just really about the awareness, being able to contact, you know, these colleges that are offering these various programs, and then having those individuals being able to submit, so we could be able to provide a larger platform for them to get more eyes on their projects and everything. But I believe that is the area where we want to grow a lot more, because that is a healthy job market there. You know, like I said, just watch an animated film and look at all of the credits.
Right.
All of those individuals who are involved in that project, those are all job opportunities that most of our Black and Brown individuals don't know about. Some of them are technical, some of them are degree oriented, but, you know, just being in the know, it can definitely be something very lucrative for you, you know, as a career path,
Right.
especially if it's something that you're already passionate about.
Mm. Now, are all aspects of animation are all of them available for submission? So that's 2D, 3D, digital, stop motion, all that.
Yes, all aspects of animation are available. Even music videos, so animated
Mm.
music videos as
Okay.
well. Game trailers, we also have a category for those. And then we've even opened up the categories for high school and college. The first year that we did it, we just did a student division, and then we quickly found out that we need to be able to have a sub level for high school students,
Wow.
so they don't compete with the college students, and and they have their own they have their own category and everything. So all of those different things, and then also some of the resources that are available. You have like on an iPad, you have Animate, and some other things
Yeah.
where you can actually animate some of the your projects and everything at a at a lower cost than someone who's using Toon Boom or some other platform in order to be able to create their animation.
Right, right, right. Now, is me personally, outside of ChemFest, I know you from PBS Soldier. But
Yes.
is there any updates going forward about like basically the continuation of that series? I still see hints from time to time.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. So we actually have Jason. Jason is coming. We actually have that book pretty much done, and then from there we're gonna come out with PB Soldiers. So part two, excuse me, the Awakening part two, and then from the Awakening part two, then we're gonna come out with Jason the Rose Blue from the Concrete part two as well. So all of those things are definitely happening moving forward, and we just, I mean, we had it. We were just we wanted to have it at Khem Fest.
Right, right, right.
But the book is actually done. Now we just got to go into print. So the book is actually done for Jason. It's got to go into print. So that is actually looking to happen at the middle of October. You know, because
Definitely.
Jason's story talks about an oncologist who's gone rogue. I don't want to get too deep into the story, but so we also want to kind of connect it with Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So
Okay.
that's a part of that.
Now, do you find yourself still basically like roaming the circles of the indie comic realm and still basically find time to like basically like see any like young fledgling artists and writers that are basically out there like pushing the agenda, and you get approached about people that want to start in comics and
Oh yeah,
everything like that?
definitely,
Does that happen all
definitely.
the time?
Yes, all the time. Every time I go to a convention, every time we host an event in the space, we always get that next generation of creators who are looking to do stuff, who are looking for mentorship. Um, and I just try to, I try to pour into them because somebody poured into me, and and I'm not charging for a master class or anything like that. I just like to pay it forward, and just give them a roadmap and some mistakes that I made that they don't have to make those same mistakes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, in talking about ChemFest going forth into the future, outside of this year,
Mhm.
what do you hope to gain in this current one, and what do you hope to see basically in the next couple of years of how ChemFest can basically provide a lot more in-depth look into the future?
Well, we're looking at ChemFest as a training grounds for that next generation of creators. So we're looking at ChemFest as where you would come if you were interested in, gaming or animation and everything, and get your training. Start, get some initial groundwork within the field, and then kind of get that foundation and be able to move forward, with some type of skill set to whatever the next level of training would be, as far as master classes, 8-week courses and everything, because that was one of the things that we wanted to do over the summer with have and like an 8-week intensive for game development and animation, with something that we're going to push forward for next year. We're looking at trying to do some grants and some other things so we can be able to do those type of things with young people so they can actually have that foundation and be more marketable.
Definitely. Now, have you taken any opportunities to basically try to implement ChemFest into the Newark public school system?
We have not done that only because there's a conflict of interest,
Okay.
conflict of interest personally. But as if I was to step away from this role, I can be able to integrate it a little more or less seamlessly. And then also just being able to get a couple of grant opportunities so we can hire staff, and then we can actually be able to do that. Because, we are, basically a 3 to 4 man with help and volunteers, kind of making it all happen. So with that, we are limited in what we can, like physically do at the time, but, we still have the passion and everything else that we're looking to be able to expand, because the 10th annual, we're looking to do something in Miami to, make it broader and everything, and then be able to move Khem Fest to a couple of other cities, so they can actually experience it in those cities as well.
All right. So as far as Wakanda Ball and Khem Fest, please, if you would, if anybody wanted to reach out to you and contribute to your mission, like basically, how would they be able to do so?
So you can reach us at KhemFest, which is KhemFest.com. That's our general website on social media. It's KhemFest, KhemFest. With regards to all of the things that we're doing, with regards to the Wakanda Ball, you can actually, go to our Eventbrite page, either purchase a ticket or even make a donation, with regards to it, and you like what we're doing, you want to help us expand some of the things that we're doing, you could actually look to partner, or sponsor some of the activities that we're doing. But all of the things that we're doing is a part of, like I said, our STEM initiatives that we try to push forward to, help inspire that next generation of creators, man. That's been our whole mission, and Khem Fest has been a platform to be able to introduce, expose, and, bring that level of family entertainment, because we have this whole village concept with everything that we do. And when you come to Khem Fest, it's like that whole, family cookout, family reunion type of thing, because everyone is on the ground level with it. So even our guests, like you could touch them, you could talk to them, you can actually have access to them and everything. They're not, put up in the stands and, and all the, I mean, some people, we have a little more security, but you can say hi, you can take a picture, you can do all of those things with them without much resistance and everything, because it's just that type of vibe and everything. Like even with our staging, we kind of try to keep it, like, so you don't feel like they're way up in the rafters and you have no access to them and everything. So that's the vibe, that's the energy that we want to bring forth, and we just try to put together a quality show that's family friendly. We will bring out the whole family, and then learn something. You can have fun and learn something. Right. So that's what it's all about for us. I mean, and like I said, me being an educator all these years, that's kind of like something that I'm into.
For sure. Now, see, look, I appreciate the initiative that you're putting forward by basically doing Khem Fest in its 8th year, and basically pushing out a construct about Afrofuturism and holding the youth accountable for exactly what they're creating, and bolstering up these young people for exactly what they need for the future. So Thank you for doing this with me. I appreciate it.
No, man, thank you for having me, man. And once again, I'm just glad we were able to come together and make it happen, man. That's that's the energy, that's the universe, full swing, full revolution with it, man. So I'm just ecstatic, man, that all of these things are just happening, and I'm humble. Like it never takes me. I never feel like I'm above or anything. I'm just doing the work, and being that I'm doing the work, it just makes things happen, man. I don't even take time to enjoy all this. I just go on to the next project.
That's what's happening. So from Naseed Gifted, Khem Fest. So we got a couple weeks left for Wakanda Ball as well as Khem Fest at the end of the month. Go out there and either donate or buy some tickets. Go out there right here in the Jersey area, within the Tri-City area. So you can definitely get to see Naseed and see his whole initiative in full swing. So for James Graham, Master Facts Voice, Naseed Gifted for Khem Fest, we are out.